If you feel like you lost yourself last year, this year can be different. But for that to happen, there is one thing that we must do, which is to set boundaries. Because respectfully, if you're available for everyone, you won't be available to what matters to you. And now with the new year coming up, we all get so caught up with setting goals. We write our dreams down. We commit to losing the weight. We commit to working out every single day. We commit to starting saving money, take care of our mental health, and the list can go on and on. But here's the problem. Moms don't fail the New Year's resolution because they are lazy or because they are not capable of doing so. The problem is moms are available to everyone. And when you are available to everyone and anything, it's very hard for you to actually focus on the things that needs to be done for you to change your life. If I were to ask you right now, when was the last time you say yes to something didn't want to do? I'm sure you can come up with more than 2 times you've done so the past week, the past month. This is what I'm talking about. So we moms are available to everyone, and that has to change. Because here's the thing, when you say yes to someone else, especially when whatever you're about to do for that person is not aligned to your own goals, you end up paying for that with your energy, your peace of mind, and your time. And if you're thinking to yourself right now, I want this new year to be different, welcome to the channel, because on today's video, we're going to talk about a New Year's boundary reset. So throughout the video, we're going to go through several steps, right? One of the steps will be how to set boundaries and what does having boundaries really means and what it doesn't, and a framework we can use to help us stay consistent. This year is not about you becoming a new person. It's more about you becoming that person that protects her time, that person that protects her energy. So throughout the video, we're going to be talking about what are boundaries and what are not boundaries. Okay, we're also going to talk about how we can set our boundaries in a way that is easier for us to stick with them. We're also going to talk about why we feel guilty when we set our boundaries. With that being said, let's set the tone. First of all, we need to change our roles. We need to change our behaviors. We need to change our habits because we can't achieve a different outcome if we keep doing the same things as last year. Because here's the thing, if your schedule is full of people's emergencies, people's expectations, people's emotional dumping, people's last minute demand, it's going to be very hard for you to find the time to dedicate to your goals and dreams. So I know for a lot of us, setting boundaries can be a little bit tricky because sometimes people think that when you have boundaries, you become mean or you become selfish in a sense. But I don't want you to think like that. I want you to change your mindset when it comes to boundaries. Saying no to someone else's BS is you saying yes to yourself, right? Saying yes to more time for you, saying yes for more peace of mind, saying yes to your priorities. And we're going to go through every step of the way to show you how you can set boundaries and how easy it is to switch that mindset. Because think about it, it's very easy for us moms to feel guilty when we're trying to set boundaries. Because every time you say no to someone because you are trying to spend that time with yourself, maybe go to your thoughts, or maybe read a book, or just sit on your balcony, enjoy your coffee, your tea, or have some self-care routine, whatever the case might be. Every time you say no to someone, especially when whatever they were asking you to do is not even aligned to your goals, the dreams you're trying to achieve, you shouldn't feel guilty. And down the line, those same people at the beginning, like I'm always saying, is going to be very harsh because guess what? Everybody is used to knowing a version of you, right? So that's kind of like you switching on them unexpectedly. And obviously, you're going to get a lot of pushback. But that's when, mom, you have to be very certain of what exactly you're trying to achieve so that you stay consistent on that. Because let's just be honest, if you were a mom that every time they were asking you for, oh, make us some cupcakes for I don't know whose party, before the person is done with the sentence, you say yes. Obviously, you saying no this time won't be fun. Because again, people are used to a version of yourself that is always available to their needs, available to their emergencies, available to their favors. So you right now say no, obviously you're going to get some pushback. It's expected to have that. But here's the truth. Your struggle with setting boundaries is because you've been conditioned to think that being always available to help makes you a better mom, makes you a better human being. And that's not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, we're humans, right? We want to be likable. But here's what I want you to think. Setting boundaries has nothing to do with you being a good or a bad person. Setting boundaries means from this time to this time, I might be available to help you with X, Y, and Z. After this time, I'm no longer available because that's the time I'm dedicating back to myself. And as a matter of fact, you don't even have to explain why you can do certain things. Just a simple no, I'm not going to be available, end of story. That should be a complete sentence, right? And the more you start setting those boundaries and letting them know exactly where you're standing, the easier it will become. And with that in mind, this is a line I want you to always keep in mind. Guilt shows up not because you're doing something wrong. It just means you are doing something that is breaking an old habit. Not you being a bad human being, not you being a bad mom, just you changing something that you used to do a certain way, now you're trying to do it differently. That's when guilt shows up. And the sooner you get those mindset in the right place, the easier it will be for you to adjust that mindset when that guilt shows up. Okay, with that said, if you are ready to set boundaries that stick this year, this is the exact framework we're going to use to make it happen. The step one will be very simple. You need to ask yourself, what am I trying to accomplish this year? Is it more time? Is it more energy? Is it more focus? You have to set your mind clear when it comes to that. An example can be, this year I want to protect my time so I can focus on X, Y, and Z. Or this year I want to protect my energy so I can focus on, you fill in the blank. For me, I can be like, okay, this year I want to focus on my weekends so I can rest more, to give you an example. Now, maybe I was someone that every weekend I had friends coming over. Obviously, the first weekend I'm going to tell them, oh, I'm not going to be available because I'm trying to rest. They won't be happy about it, especially if those people were taking advantage of me. If maybe I was the one picking them up and I was the only one responsible for my gas. If you were that friend that when you guys go out, you tend to pay. The moment you say you're no longer available, it's not going to be something fun for them, because that means they no longer have the driver, they no longer have the pocket to pay for their stuff. When we set our boundaries, the people that were taking advantage of us won't be happy. And they're going to make sure to make you feel guilty about you setting those boundaries. Sometimes it can even be your family members. Obviously, you love them. And the last thing you want is for them to feel like you're not appreciating them. It's for them to feel like, they are not important for you, if that makes sense. But at that moment, it's very important for you to remember why you started this whole process. That's going to help you stay strong. The second step of the framework would be to communicate your boundaries clearly in one sentence. You don't have to over-explain why you're doing what you're doing. An example of this can be, this year, after 7 p.m., I'm not responding any work emails, and I hope you can respect that. This year, I'm keeping my weekends to myself. I hope you can respect that. This year, I'm protecting my health, so I'm not going to be available to take one extra commitment. You see, very simple. This year, I'm committing to blank, so I hope you respect that. Your job is to inform, not to explain yourself. You're letting them know what's about to happen. That's about it. And you know what is important for you not to over-explain yourself, because you're going to give them chances to change your mind about it or to put some doubt. Because if you're like, I'm no longer going to be available every weekend. What you mean? But we always have fun. Oh, you like to drink the margarita, which it might be the case that you might like the margarita. But at that moment, you don't want the other side or the other person to get the power to try to change your mindset. So that's why you just inform them and you move on. And the step 3 is not to debate your point. Again, let them know what's about to happen. Repeat if necessary, but you don't have to debate your decision. And the pushback might come. They might try to argue with you, but it's not your place to argue back. You say what you have to say, okay? Understand their concern, understand their feeling, but your decision stands. And that's it, because clarity is actually a form of kindness. And to be honest, you being consistent in this stage, that's what's gonna break it or make it, okay? Because at the end of the day, consistency is what makes a boundary real, right? If you stay consistent on your boundaries, they become a reality. To the point where sometimes you don't even have to repeat them because people will get used to that new version of yourself. Now let's move to the practical part of the video, okay? Which is our boundary script. You can always adjust them to your liking. This is just like the sample. It can be adjustable to your specific needs when you don't have the capacity, okay? This is what we're going to be saying. You can say something like, thank you for thinking of me, but that doesn't work for me at the moment. End of story. Simple, clear, acknowledging their side. Thank you for thinking of me. That was so nice of you. But now we're taking back control. We want to protect our time. It doesn't work for me. You don't have to explain. Let's say in this case, you're trying to protect your goal for the year, right? Simple. I'm focusing on some personal goals this year, so I'm trying to be more intentional about how I spend my time. I hope you understand. Script 3. When someone is trying to play the guilt trick on you, which is gonna happen, okay, just get ready for that. I understand you're disappointed, but my decision stands and I won't feel guilty about it. Let's say the person pushes back. Okay, simple. Acknowledge what they're saying, and we're gonna say, my boundary is not up for discussion. Out of courtesy, I was letting you know, but you're not gonna change my mind because my decision stands. And for the family members that sometimes they just need your help right there, like, oh my gosh, it's such a big emergency, let them know. Maybe we can set a time that works for best of us. For us, mom, when you need your mom reset time, simple. I'm taking 20 minutes to recharge. Please, I don't want to be disturbed. I hope you understand. And for us that work and we are so used to bringing our work back home, simple. I'll reply to you during my work hours, especially if you're a 9-to-5er. I'll reply during my work hours. I'm off after 6. I'll get back to you tomorrow. And it's very simple. Because here's the thing. The more you're trying to explain why you're trying to do what we're trying to do, the more you're letting them know your decision is negotiable, which is not. That's why we want to keep our answers very simple. Once you set your boundaries clearly and you inform everybody involved about your boundaries, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get a lot of pushback once again. People won't be happy about it. But on the other hand, you're going to feel more energized. You're going to have more time for yourself to focus on your goals, to focus on your dreams. You're going to be more available for you in general, right? Happier, lighter. The list can go on and on. On your side, you're going to be very happy that you set those boundaries. The uncomfortable part about it, like we'll be talking during the video, is people trying to play the guilt card on you. You know, you're going to be tested a lot just to see if you can switch back to the old version that benefited them. But here's the truth, and this is where I want you to pay attention. If someone is upset that you have boundaries, it usually means they were very comfortable benefiting from that version of yourself you're trying to change. Let me repeat that one more time, and please listen to me carefully. If someone is upset at you because you're setting boundaries for yourself to become a better person, it usually means they were comfortable benefiting with the version of you that had no boundaries. And guess what? Not everybody will like the new version of you, and that's okay. That only means one thing: we are growing. Because if you think about it, for the past few years, we haven't been achieving those goals that we obviously wanted to achieve, because once again we were available to everything and everyone. Our energy was divided, so to the point where we didn't have enough time or energy to focus on what really mattered to us. And not to say it's your fault, because sometimes it's very hard for us to sit down with ourselves and realize what needs to be changed, and not just that, but act upon it. So this year, if you really want a different outcome than the previous years where you felt lost, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to have a clear mind about what exactly you are trying to achieve. Because if your goals are not clear, then there is nothing on us to focus. So, going back to the concept, setting boundaries is not you becoming better than anybody. Setting boundaries is just you trying to upgrade yourself. And you should be allowed to do that, okay? And anyone that really loves you, that really cares about you, eventually would have to adjust to that new version of yourself you're trying to become, especially if they still want to have access to you. And anyone that is pushing back, that is not letting it go, that, okay, Dolly is no longer this version of herself, is okay if that chapter has ended. Move on. Because you are allowed to progress as human. You are allowed to adjust your life as you grow in life. So sometimes we might get comfortable on living with friends or even family members just because we don't want them to see us as different, or we don't want to disappoint them. That actually means you're a very caring person. But at the end of the day, you're going to bed by yourself, your thoughts and yourself. So I'm going to ask you this. Who do you want to become? Do you want to stay the same version of yourself that you've been for the past years? Or you ready to start becoming that version of yourself you want to become? That version of yourself that's going to bring you more happiness because now your time becomes yours. That version of yourself that has more clarity because the noise has been toned down. That version of yourself that has more energy to rest, to dedicate it to herself, to even your family members. Because here's the thing, if you take a few moments to yourself to recharge, to organize your thoughts, your ideas, and focus on your dreams, you become a better mom, you become a better wife, you become a better sister. Because at that moment, you don't do things on autopilot mode. You're choosing what to do and when to do it. Because here's the thing, if I'm exhausted and a sister of mine comes and she drops her emergency on me, I might not do it 100% as if I would if that was a set appointment, if that was scheduled. I'll give him 100% on those 2 hours because I chose when to be available for her or him. And I chose that time that is not conflicting with my own personal time. And that's a blessing. So if you finally ready to switch that mindset to become that version of yourself that goes after her goals or after her dreams, it's important for you to set your boundaries. The sooner, the better. And thank you so much for being here with me. And I hope to see you on my next video. Bye.